Hey everybody, how are y'all doing? Not long ago there was a firestorm sparked when the current president of the United States posed for a picture while holding this book. Okay, not this exact book, but holding the Bible. And a big part of the controversy was where the picture was taken. But for many, the inflammatory part of the scene was the fact that he was holding the Bible. Entire religions are built on ideas espoused in this book. To be more precise, it's not really a book, it's a compilation of books, a portable library, if you will, of 66 different books, some of which are letters, prophetic statements, stories, and even the number 66 varies depending on different traditions. And this library has two major sections, one for the Old Testament or covenant, written before Jesus of Nazareth, and then the New Testament or covenant, written after and really mostly about Jesus. Interestingly, Jesus claimed that people, especially religious leaders, could search major portions of this book and still miss its main point altogether. This book has been used for centuries by people to justify and prohibit all kinds of conduct. In fact, we know that people used different parts of the text in this book to defend slavery, while opponents contended that the clear message of the book left no room for such a despicable practice. Some people claim this book proves there's a God. Some think that the God described in these pages of this book is loving and gentle, and others think he's mean and cruel. It leaves us wondering why it even says what it says in so many places. The first book of the Bible is Genesis, and the debate over what is written in this book starts immediately. The first words in the English translation elicit opposing viewpoints, diverse opinions, before a whole sentence is even completed. 5 words. Historians, theologians, scientists, philosophers have written volumes on whether these 5 words are valid or absurd. Politicians and educators have introduced curriculum and passed legislation about what can be taught in school related to these 5 words. In the beginning, God created. But so what? What is the relevance of these writings translated from ancient Hebrew for us today? Well, to say that there's a lot going on in the world today would be a serious and obvious understatement. In the midst of social unrest, racial discrimination, and a health crisis, faith and religion and social justice again find themselves at the forefront. And does this book have anything to say about all of these issues that we face? I recently finished a book, which I'm actually still in a group study with a lot of people about this book, and it was called How to Be an Anti-Racist. And in it, author Ibram Kendi references a guy by the name of Ken Ham. Now, Ken Ham is best known for his teachings about those 5 words and his views on Genesis. Now, Kendi picked him out of all the possibilities of people to quote about issues of race for a reason. You see, Ken Ham represents one of the various Christian views of creation. There are others who have been doing a solid job of giving us a very good critique of the historical role of the Christian institutional church in racism. And I'm learning a lot from them. One of the common themes that I'm finding that many people are exploring and pondering right now is, how did we get here? More specifically, how did we arrive at a social construct called race? Clearly, we have different colors of skin, and so being colorblind isn't necessarily the goal or even a reality. There's no point in pretending that we're all the same. We do look different, we are different, and those differences have caused different paths and outcomes, and we have to acknowledge that. It's important, as Latasha Morrison writes, to adopt a posture of humility. This humble learning posture is important in issues of race, religion, the origin of life, well, everything really. And it is certainly necessary for a serious approach to Genesis. Within Christianity, we have some who believe it is to be taken literally, that it gives an accurate historical account of events. Other Christians think it's figurative, allegorical, and it gives us life lessons without being literal. Many followers of Christ fall somewhere in between those two. Then there's the science of it all. Again, within Christianity, you have young earth creationists, we have progressive or old earth creationists, evolutionary creationists, who are also called theistic evolutionists, and intelligent design theorists, all of whom believe there's a supernatural maker involved at some point in the process. Having so many different people with different perspectives related to this topic is challenging yet amazing. We literally have people who hold totally opposite views of how life began and how to read the Bible and how God was involved, and yet they worship the same Savior and walk together under the same banner of Christ. Their diversity doesn't make unity weaker, but stronger and more beautiful. But what is often lacking is any serious discussion of these topics that gets beyond one-liners, accusations, and name-calling. And I will admit that it's easier to label each other than to learn from one another. To the Christian community, I bet we can do better. I think we can be exposed to some of the different ways of thinking and grow from doing so. I don't think we need to be scared of opposing viewpoints. You see, ignorance isn't a strategy, and it's not listed among the fruit of the Spirit. So that's why we're starting this quarantine version of a study series called Was This God's Idea? About the differing viewpoints within Christianity about the creation account found in the Bible. So I know that this will most likely appeal to some people more than others, but it's open to anyone. And my disclaimer would be that we're not going to spend time debating atheism or other religions, nor will I be trying to represent their thoughts or doctrines. I would not do them justice, so that would be unfair to them. As with any study, we have to decide on a scope, and ours will be the focus of the teachings within Christianity. But again, everyone is welcome, including students, all ages, probably wanting to start maybe at the middle school age and up. Male, female, black, white, brown, creationist, evolutionist, agnostic, Catholic, Baptist, Presbyterian, it doesn't matter. Any faith, any background. Anyone and everyone is invited to engage in friendly interaction with a serious approach to the theories and teachings of the Christian faith related to God's creation of life and the world. So basically, how this will work is we will continue to put out short videos with brief summaries of a teaching or a stance each week on a topic for that week. And then discussion questions will be posted on the Grace in Motion Facebook page. And you have three options of just watching the videos, number one, or engaging in the Facebook communication with making comments and reading other people's comments, number two. Or the third option will be that we offer Zoom discussion groups for people who want to discuss the topic for that week a little bit further. All of the details, all of the videos, all of the study will be found on the Grace in Motion Facebook page, which is at Grace in Motion Centex. So if you want to join us and follow along, I encourage you and invite you to do so. I want to leave you with this thought. I wonder what the world would be like. I wonder how things would be right now if people were living in a way where you believed every person you met was actually God's idea.